Hello everyone, my name is Levana and today is a really great day because when I was scrolling through a storygram, then I suddenly know that one of my anticipated upcoming manga by Hiro Mashima is finally released. It's Death Rock, and knowing that, I just go straight up to read the manga, and this is me after reading the first chapter of Death Rock. I want to give you my thoughts and sort of review about Death Rock and its first chapter. Did you have read the Death Rock manga? Is it good, bad, or generic? Comment it on the comment section below. So without any further ado, let's dive into the topic. Now let's talk about the chapter itself. So the first chapter is titled God in the Demon Realm. Mainly tells a story about an exam of the Demon King institution, Death Rock. So the great thing that I suddenly noticed is layers, because the Death Rock is placed in the layer 666. So I think its layers will have its own territory and its own demon that lives in that specific layers. For example, in the layer 666 is the place where the Death Rock is placed. And the thing that I noticed is that these layers has the same vibe with Eden Zero's planet, because each layer has its own specific region, like planets in the Eden Zero that mainly has specific place inside that certain planet. So yeah, it's great in my opinion. So usually you have something like this. Okay, this is a demon realm and that's it. But Mashima used the advantage of layers in hell to creating sort of uniqueness to his demon realm. So Mashima used the layers to give lines and creating a simple way to the power scaling narrative. Yakuto says that the deeper the layers in the demon realm, the more dangerous the security and creatures living there become. And that's good. For example, there is a character named Yugo who lives in the 27th layer of the Demon Realm. That's impressive, but then you encounter Hien, the Fenrir, who lives in the layers 306 into the Eternal Winter. Just like what Hien able to display, he is able to defeat the Hell Ant with only one strike. You can understand that layers is a really great deal in Death Rock when you see Yugo who rules the 27th layer and Hien who lives in the 306 layer deep in the Demon Realm. You can see there is a huge difference in the power scaling, and I think that is a really great thing in my opinion. It's not so unique but also not that generic. I'm not really sure that these layers is meant to be a proper power scaling by Mashima, but that's the vibe that I get from reading the first chapter. The next thing I want to talk is our main character, Yakuto. When I looked at Yakuto, I feel like Yakuto is like another main character that Mashima has created like Natsu or Shiki. What I mean by this is someone who is badass but also a goofy main character that I've encountered with Natsu and Shiki. But then in the climax of this chapter, there is a really great twist, because Mashima is once again creating such a unique character. Mashima once again is using his blending technique to create a new component for Yakuto. For example, Yakuto has that Demon King badass that I get from Ziki from Eden Zero, and also Yakuto is just a straight up Agnologia in Death Rock. It's interesting since we basically get like the another parallel version of Agnologia from Fairy Tail, with Yakuto who also straight up has a roots black dragon that makes Yakuto is able to turn his arm into Agnologia's arm. And this panel is very Natsu-like, and with that technique and attitude, we basically has like what if instead Natsu, Agnologia is the main character. With this character who has a tan skin, not as dark as Agnologia but still, and Yakuto also has that Demon King and Agnologia with Azure in him. So I already fell in love with Yakuto, but it's far from over. Another thing that I want to talk is these roots things. At first I don't really understand what is this roots really is, but after some researching, I finally understand what these roots really mean. So these roots tells the character's ancestor. For example, Fer the Ifrit, it means Fer is the ancestor of Ifrit. There's also Raizen the Orochi, meaning that Raizen is the ancestor of Orochi. I hope you already understand that. There is a really interesting dialogue between Yakuto's fight with Gyugo that says, Black Dragon roots, those roots should have gone extinct. So what I able to understand from this dialogue is, so I assume that the other god like Ifrit, Orochi, and Fenrir has a lot of roots, and when it comes to Yakuto, Yakuto is the only roots that survive. So can we get another character from roots Fenrir, for example? That's really interesting to talk about. If I was able to talk about my disappointment with the first chapter, it's the Death Rock Academy. The only thing that catch my interest is nothing. Unfortunately, nothing catch my interest when it comes to Death Rock Academy. Because basically we learn nothing about this academy yet, so I can't really force myself to like it from the first chapter. But there is some words that I want to talk, and that is, it's not like what I expected to be. Because when I first time heard that Death Rock will have a demon academy for the first time, what comes into my mind, I was thinking maybe this Death Rock Academy will be like the True Cross Academy, but it's not like that either. Maybe it's because we literally got a really small portion of academy. We only know that there is a professor and God as the headmaster. As for something beside that, we basically know nothing about it. And when I know that there will be an exam to enter the academy, I thought something like UA Sports Festival from My Hero Academia, but sadly it's a no once again. It's not like that. It's the opposite. It's more like the summer camp from My Hero Academia. It's not bad, but just unexpected, and not the great unexpected, but a bad unexpected. And the whole exam portion is really uninteresting in my opinion. So I don't really know what's my opinion about the Death Rock Academy, but it's not solid. That's why I can say so far. Maybe we will know something really interesting about Death Rock, but for now, it's meh to say the least. Now continuing our talks about Yakuto. Actually, Yakuto is a really great main character. It has a really great twist that came towards the climax of this first chapter. And actually, Yakuto is not just badass and goofy, Yakuto is a really fresh character. Rather than just combining Natsu and Shiki into a new main character, Yakuto really stands out among the main character that Mashima has created. Yakuto is actually really smart and someone who has a really interesting goal in mind. What he wanted is clear in his head. I hope there will be no goofy stupid Mashima main character tropes, cause Yakuto is built different. He seems like those isekai MCs who pretends to be stupid, goofy and weak just because, and I kinda love that. It's a goofy tropes on its own right, but how Mashima writes is really interesting. And back to the chapters, there is a really cool interaction between Yakuto and the professor. They literally arguing about the human realms. Yakuto seems to have a personal engagement with human realms, and it looks like Yakuto knows something that only he knows about the human realms. And when their conversation seems failed to meet Yakuto's expectation, Yakuto straight up kills the professor with his dragon roots. Everyone is shocked. Everyone thought that Yakuto is losing his mind. They all freaked out, but then the twist is happening. I'm sorry everyone, allow me to fill you in, and he reveals his true self. There is someone that says it's a split personality, but I think it's not a split personality. There is a sign here and there that tells Yakuto is more than what he has in the early page of the first chapter. So when his true self is revealed, everyone is silent. Everyone knows that there is something so different from Yakuto. There is something that they fear about Yakuto, and that's really interesting in my opinion. Even when his true self is revealed, there is more to Yakuto even with that huge revelation. We don't really know much about Yakuto, but the most interesting thing than all of that is Yakuto's motivation to enroll the Death Rock Academy. It's to kill God. That's a really amazing revelation in my opinion that shows how amazing Yakuto really is, and also suddenly creating a great dynamic between Yakuto and God, cause one of them is full of mystery. There is more to Yakuto than what we know in the surface, and we basically know nothing about gods. So Yakuto is a really well-informed character. He knows about what he wants to do, what his true goal really is, why he wants to kill gods. It seems that God has something that really piques Yakuto's interest that makes him wants to kill God. there's a lot that we can solve regarding the future of that rock. So yeah, let's put that in the container until the time is coming. So maybe that's it for the first chapter of that rock, and that's it. I love everything about this first chapter of that rock. I gave this chapter a solid 8 out of 10. This is a must read for you who really loves everything about shonen just like me. And yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys like this video and I hope you guys have a great day. And that's it. Bye bye. Matane.